On Yuuto Amakawa's 16th birthday, he and his childhood friend Rinko encounter a mysterious katana-wielding girl on their way to school. This girl immediately shows interest in Yuuto, much to Rinko's surprise and dismay. During a confrontation on the school rooftop, Yuuto and Rinko are attacked by their possessed friend Taizo, but Himari intervenes and exorcises the demon spirit, saving them. Later that night, Yuuto receives an unexpected visit from a mysterious girl from earlier, named Himari, who reveals herself to be a cat spirit. She warns him that he's being hunted by dangerous Ayakashi and promises to protect him as part of an ancient vow. However, Yuuto's cat allergies are triggered by her cat-like appearance, causing him distress. To make matters worse, Rinko suddenly arrives and misunderstands the situation, leading to chaos. The next day, Himari surprises Yuuto and Rinko by transferring to their school. In a flashback, she explains that Yuuto's family, the Amakawa family, is part of the 12 demon slayer families tasked with protecting humanity from Ayakashi. She reveals that her ancestor was spared by Yuuto's ancestor, leading to a vow from her kind to always protect the Amakawa lineage. Rinko, refusing to accept Himari's role, challenges her to a series of sports battles but loses in all of them. Feeling inadequate, Himari confides in Yuuto about her doubts regarding her ability to protect him. Rinko, feeling threatened, insults Himari, calling her a monster. Later on the school rooftop, Himari questions Yuuto about whether it's acceptable to have an Ayakashi like her by his side. Recognizing her genuine concern for his safety, Yuuto grants her permission to fulfill her duty to protect him, much like his grandparents once did. The following morning, Rinko arrives to apologize to Yuuto, but she finds Himari in his bed once again, causing her frustration to flare up, leading to another commotion. Meanwhile, a Mizuchi named Shizuku emerges among the other Ayakashi, declaring her intent to personally eliminate Yuuto. Yuuto, Himari, and Rinko receive an invitation from their class representative for a beach trip to welcome Himari. As they walk home from school, Yuuto reluctantly agrees to accompany Himari on swimsuit shopping. However, as he calls Rinko, a sudden heavy rain begins, prompting Yuuto to seek shelter under a bridge. Shizuku suddenly appears, warning him about his demon slayer lineage and threatening to kill him if he continues with it. She disappears as the rain clears up, leaving Yuuto unsettled. Rinko accompanies Yuuto and Himari to the department store, where she assists Himari in selecting a swimsuit, while Yuuto chooses a Western-style dress for her. At the beach, it's revealed that Himari is afraid of water, so Rinko tosses her an inflatable whale toy to float on. While everyone enjoys themselves, Himari drifts far from shore. Suddenly, a giant wave approaches, startling her until Yuuto appears, and they are both engulfed by the crashing wave. Regaining consciousness, Yuuto met Shizuku again, who cautioned him about the consequences of his Demon Slayer awakening, as Demon Slayer will upset the delicate balance between humans and Ayakashi. Himari intervened when Shizuku attempted to kill Yuuto, but a second Mizuchi emerged, capturing Himari upside down. As Himari struggles against the tentacles, her cat ears emerge involuntarily. Despite her efforts to free herself, she finds herself ensnared by the tentacles once again, unable to reach the ground or break free from her binds. With both her arms and legs restrained, she is immobilized and unable to cut through the tentacles holding her. Despite Himari's struggles, she couldn't escape the tentacles. Shizuku conjured a whirlpool to drown Himari while ensnaring her. Yuuto leaped into the whirlpool to rescue Himari. Himari sacrificed herself by stabbing her thigh with one of Shizuku's ice spikes, causing the whirlpool to dissipate. She destroyed the second Mizuchi but sustained an injury. Himari urged Yuuto to flee, but he refused, determined not to let her sacrifice herself for him. Shizuku, sensing something unusual about them, withdraws, vowing to return. While Yuuto was in the midst of his bath, Shizuku made a startling appearance, catching him off guard. Just as the atmosphere tensed, Rinko and Himari barged in, with Himari swiftly slicing Shizuku in half. However, to everyone's shock, Shizuku reappeared behind Yuuto, leaving him bewildered. Overwhelmed, Yuuto fainted in the bathtub. Upon regaining consciousness, Yuuto expressed to Shizuku his reluctance to hunt Ayakashi merely because of his demon slayer heritage. He professed his desire for a normal life, which struck a chord with Shizuku. Surprisingly, she decided to move in to keep an eye on him, much to everyone's surprise. The following day, After Yuuto praised Shizuku for her housework skills, she criticized Himari for her lack of feminine traits beyond combat prowess. This led to tension among them. Later, the trio, Yuuto, Rinko, and Shizuku visited Cafe Relish, where Himari had secured a job as a cat-eared maid, triggering Yuto's allergies. An altercation ensued when Himari flirted with Yuuto, drawing the attention of Lizette, the cafe's head waitress. Himari warned Yuuto of Liz's potential as an Ayakashi. Meanwhile, Liz grew suspicious of Yuto's behavior, fearing he might seek to destroy her. In a desperate bid to protect herself, Liz spiked Yuto's tea with magic leaves. However, her plan backfires when Shizuku unwittingly offers the spiked tea to Taizo, who consumes it and exits the cafe under its magical influence. To escalate matters, Liz releases a cloud of magic tea leaves, compelling everyone else in the cafe to depart as well. Himari exposes Liz's true identity as its Kumagami, an artifact spirit, after attempting to attack her with Yasutsuna, to no avail. When Himari tries to destroy Liz's true form, an antique teacup, it slips from her grasp. In a critical moment, Yuuto manages to catch the teacup, saving Liz from destruction. Following a heart-to-heart with Yuuto, Liz apologized for her actions, prompting Himari and Shizuku to contemplate Yuto's compassion. The next morning, Yuuto was surprised to find Rinko, Shizuku, and Himari, all clad in cat-made costumes, playfully leaping onto his bed. In a bid to jog Yuto's memory of his forgotten past, Himari planned a trip to Noihara, hoping the familiar surroundings would trigger something. However, to her disappointment, Rinko and Shizuku insisted on joining them, each with their own motives. Upon reaching Yuto's late grandparents' house, they were met by Kaya, the Zashiki Warashi, who harbored resentment towards Yuuto for leaving Himari alone. As Yuuto and Himari took a walk through the forest, memories began flooding back, reconnecting them to their shared past. Suddenly, Uchiha, the Hinoenma, emerged, threatening Yuto's life. Their retreat was halted by a Datarabachi blocking their path. Meanwhile, back at the house, Rinko, Kaya, and Shizuku faced an attack from Sasa, an Ippundatara. In the forest, Himari struggled against Uchiha and the Datarabachi, urging Yuuto to return to safety. Despite her pleas, Yuuto couldn't bear the thought of being protected by her alone. He re-entered the fray, blocking Uchiha's lethal strike with his body, revealing a scar on his chest. Witnessing the scar, Himari's sanity shattered, sending her into a frenzied rampage. She incapacitated the Datarabachi and nearly killed Uchiha until Yuuto intervened, using a nearby twig to block the final blow. To everyone's astonishment, the twig began glowing, engulfing the battlefield in a brilliant light. Following her battle-induced frenzy, Himari regained her senses only to witness a naked Shizuku rubbing her body against Yuuto to her shock, only to learn she is only healing his wound with her healing water, shocking her. Shizuku took the opportunity to scold Himari for her failure to protect Yuuto, highlighting her shortcomings. Back at the house, Shizuku enlightened Yuuto and Rinko about the demon slayers and the Amakawa family's light fairy ability. She also disclosed a dark secret about Himari's ancestors, revealing their history of killing and consuming humans. Shizuku warned Yuuto that continued fighting might trigger Himari's primal instincts. On their way back from the forest, Yuuto expressed his gratitude to Himari for helping him recall his past, mentioning the kiss at the lake and speculating if she was the mysterious girl. However, Himari clarified that she first appeared as a human on his 16th birthday, leaving Yuuto puzzled about the girl's identity. Later, Yuuto trained with Shizuku in the park to awaken his light fairy ability, but was easily defeated. Attempting to train his composure, Shizuku enlisted Liz and Rinko, resulting in an unexpected harem scenario and a fight for Yuuto's affections, which leads to her smothering his face with her breasts while triggering his allergies. Brought an end to the chaotic situation. The next day, during their walk home from school, a mysterious white-haired girl, Kuesu, introduced herself as the demon slayer of the Jinguji family, adding a new layer of intrigue to their already complicated lives. In a heated confrontation, Himari clashed with Kuesu, but their fight was abruptly halted when Kuesu erected a barrier, separating them. Within the barrier's confines, Kuesu dropped a bombshell revelation: Yuuto's grandfather had arranged their marriage. To cement her claim, Kuesu kissed Yuuto, triggering a flood of memories revealing that the girl from the lake was indeed Kuesu. As Himari broke through the barrier, Kuesu managed to escape but not before kissing Yuuto once more, much to Himari's chagrin. Claiming it as her third kiss with him, Kuesu urged Yuuto to sever his ties with the Ayakashi before vanishing. Meanwhile, in the forest, other Ayakashi discussed Kuesu's appearance and Yuuto's awakening powers until Shizuku intervened, vowing to deal with Kuesu herself. Back at Yuuto's house, Himari grew increasingly agitated over Kuesu's kisses, resorting to practicing kissing in front of a mirror. Meanwhile, Kuesu engaged Shizuku in a fierce battle, ultimately overpowering her and pinning her to a billboard. However, when Shizuku mocks Kuesu for her spells and belittles her as the weakest among the 12 families, Kuesu, infuriated, unleashes a barrage of powerful fire spells, forcing Shizuku to retreat. Struggling to sleep over the events of the evening, Himari found herself desperate for solace and confided in Yuuto, requesting a kiss to ease her turmoil. After explaining her predicament, she apologized and prepared to leave, but Yuuto stopped her. In a tender moment, just as he was about to kiss her on the cheek, the doorbell interrupted them. Before Himari could react, she was surprised by a sudden kiss on the lips, leaving Yuuto in shock. In her elation at experiencing her first kiss, Himari's cat ears began to manifest. Meanwhile, at the hotel, Kuesu reaffirmed her determination to win over Yuuto. After researching Kuesu's background, the girls uncovered her family's ascent to power as demon slayers using Western magic. To their surprise, Kuesu herself arrived, announcing her impending marriage to Yuuto. Refusing to consent unless she altered her stance on Ayakashi, Yuuto stood firm, sparking a brief altercation between Kuesu and Rinko. Himari intervened, revealing the kisses they shared as well as the one she received from Yuuto, stunning everyone present. Kuesu countered by referencing a childhood promise between her and Yuuto, a memory Yuuto lacked. Later, after school, Himari confronted Kuesu, initially gaining the upper hand with her agility. However, Kuesu quickly gained control, using her magic gun and casting fire spells to overpower Himari. Forced to use her Yasutsuna as a platform to escape the flames, Himari was struck by one of Kuesu's bullets, falling victim to its magic and going on a rampage. Just as Himari was poised to strike Kuesu down, she recalled Yuuto's words from their time in Noihara, regaining her senses. Ashamed, Himari retreated, leaving a trembling Kuesu behind. Late at night, Yuuto inquires Shizuku about Himari's whereabouts, learning that she has ventured off to confront Kuesu. To his astonishment, an unconscious and battered Himari suddenly appears in his bedroom, prompting concern and surprise from Yuuto. After tending to Himari's injuries, Yuuto made his way to the hotel where Kuesu was staying to have a conversation. Meanwhile, Himari summoned Aya, a spirit messenger, to vomit numerous weapons for her to choose from, much to Shizuku's disgust. Upon arrival, Yuuto received a warm welcome from Kuesu but firmly explained his refusal to join her and declined their proposed marriage. Enraged, Kuesu sliced his cheek with a dagger and attempted to kill him, but Yuuto's light fairy powers intervened, propelling Kuesu towards a window, causing her to fall to her apparent death. As Yuuto grappled with the memories of the promise Kuesu had mentioned, feeling ashamed for not remembering, an unscathed Kuesu appeared behind him, revealing that the promise was the only thing keeping her alive. However, she accidentally let slip her desire to fulfill Yuuto's wishes. Just as Yuuto processed Kuesu's words, Himari arrived, having overheard the conversation after the barrier Kuesu had erected was broken. Embarrassed, Kuesu retracted her statement, and Himari, in a bid to lighten the tension, had Aya repeat her weapons vomiting, much to the disgust of both Yuuto and Kuesu. Meanwhile, in a nearby forest, numerous Ayakashi lay dead and mutilated, while two small Ayakashi attempted to flee, only to meet a gruesome end at the hands of an ominous figure. As Yuuto's class engaged in an art project at the park, he was suddenly abducted by a Jiha at a nearby power station. Himari and Rinko swiftly began their search for him, but Rinko encountered a surprise visit from Sasa along the way. Meanwhile, at the water fountain, Taizo and the other students were startled by Shizuku's unexpected appearance. She sought to warn Himari about something urgent. When Himari tells her about Yuuto being kidnapped, they both prepare to look until they spotted a fatigued Rinko collapsing with Sasa on her back. Himari demanded answers from Sasa, eventually learning that Yuuto was with Uchiha. At the power station, an excited Uchiha consumed Yuto's blood, becoming intoxicated by its effects. Himari and Shizuku intervened, ready to confront her, but Uchiha refused, revealing that someone was targeting Ayakashi in western Japan. Later, a man named Kaburaji from Public Safety's Section 4 arrived, explaining the alarming cases of Ayakashi consuming others. He attempted to recruit Yuuto into his division, but Yuuto declined when a mysterious blonde-haired child appeared. As Yuuto and Himari attempted to flee, they encountered a mysterious man blocking their path. Despite their efforts and attacks from Himari, Sasa, and Uchiha, the blonde-haired child attacked Himari, and bites her, revealing she is the Ayakashi responsible for killing other Ayakashi. Kuesu later arrived, identifying Tamamonome and the mysterious man as Shutendoji, two of Japan's most powerful Ayakashi. Before a confrontation could ensue, Tamamonome and Shutendoji vanished, leaving Himari perturbed by Tamamonome's earlier words. After receiving a distressing report from Aya about one of the lands ravaged by Tama, Uchiha devised a plan to awaken Yuto's powers. She suggested dressing the girls in cosplay outfits, with herself donning a revealing schoolgirl ensemble. Attempting to seduce Yuuto, Uchiha's efforts were thwarted by Himari, clad in a cat costume. Later on, Himari tries out another katana from Noihara's weapon vault but is dissatisfied until Kuesu arrives with her damaged Yasutsuna, in which Uchiha has Sasa repaired with her I-beam. At a playground, Yuuto confided in Rinko about his desire to resolve the conflict with Shutendoji and Tama without resorting to violence. Shizuku and Kaya later appeared, revealing the origins and agendas of Shutendoji and Tama. During the night, Yuuto expressed his determination to foster coexistence between humans and Ayakashi, pledging to confront Shutendoji and Tama for this cause. At the park, Kaburaji met with Shutendoji and Tama, who agreed not to harm humans during their plans. Late at night, Himari set out to confront Shutendoji and Tama, only to be halted by Yuuto, after he tells her that they have to stick together no matter what. Overwhelmed with emotion, she embraces him in tears, expressing her gratitude for his support. As they lean in for a kiss, their moment is interrupted by Kuesu, followed by the other girls, leading to a series of misunderstandings and comedic chaos. As Himari engaged in a sparring session with Yuuto to help him master his light fairy ability, Shutendoji initiated his plan, erecting a barrier across the city. Sensing the disturbance, they rushed to investigate, only to encounter Tama within the barrier. A fierce battle ensued, with Kaburaji observing from the sidelines. During the clash, Tama attempted to strangle Yuuto, triggering Himari to tap into her demon powers. However, Yuuto managed to bring her back to her senses just in time. Satisfied with their display of power, Tama released Yuuto and retreated, leaving Kaburaji bewildered. Taking refuge in Noihara, Yuuto discovered the girls researching ancient documents to help him control his light fairy powers. Surprised by their efforts, Yuuto delved into the documents himself, much to everyone's astonishment. Meanwhile, Kuesu received a call from Kaburaji, realizing his betrayal as he sided with Tama and Shutendoji. Unbeknownst to Kaburaji, this alliance would prove fatal to himself and all humans if Yuuto and his friends were destroyed. Elsewhere, during a forest stroll, Himari confronted Shutendoji and Tama, engaging the latter in combat near the lake. Outmatched in power, Himari unleashed her demon abilities, gearing up for a final showdown. As the battle between Tama and Himari reached its climax, Himari underwent a dramatic Ayakashi transformation, shocking Yuuto and the other girls who rushed to the scene. Tama shifted into her fox form, seizing Himari in her jaws, but Himari managed to break free, delivering a decisive blow that defeated Tama. However, victory quickly turned to chaos when Himari lost control, attacking and subduing the other girls while leaving Yuuto as the sole standing figure. Now that Kaburaji is of no further use to him, Shutendoji taunts him, reveling in how he manipulated and discarded Kaburaji without a second thought. Yuuto then resorts to grapple with the decision to kill Himari with her Yasutsuna. In a moment of hesitation, Yuuto embraced Himari, pleading for her return to sanity. Regaining her senses, Himari and Yuuto prepared to confront an enraged Shutendoji in his Oni form. Yuuto empowered Himari's Yasutsuna with his light fairy ability, enabling her to vanquish Shutendoji once and for all. However, a hungry Tama emerged from the wreckage shortly after, After the battle, Kuesu requested Yuuto's assistance in repairing her clothes using his light fairy ability, only to discover he couldn't summon his power. In the end, the following day, back at Yuuto's house, Kisaragi, Taizo, and the class rep paid him an angry visit, leading to a significant misunderstanding upon finding all the girls gathered there.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. If you have any suggestions or questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Until next time, take care.